Danusha,
Hi, James.
and welcome everyone. I think we just wanted to give a little introduction to the HearthFire Writing Community. One of the reasons that we created this space for people to gather together, to write together, and just share a more intentional, sacred space in the middle of the day.
And in the middle of our lives, really, because there's always so much going on that sometimes we need a placeholder so that we can just drop everything, even for a little bit, and really drop in together.
Yeah, and it's a placeholder. It's sort of an invitation or a permission slip, even to just, come as you are, show up as you are. Doesn't matter if you're stressed, overwhelmed, feel like you're too busy. We've just carved out 2 writing sessions every month, an hour long each, and it's so useful, I think, to have just that little nudge of an obligation to open up these new spaces in our lives.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true.
Yeah, and I think, we've both found that there's this magical thing that happens when we all write together, even when it is people all across the world who are sitting down, writing at the same moment from the same poem or the same prompt. It's like we're accessing this collective knowledge that we all know, we all hold inside of ourselves. And somehow this energy of all of us sitting down to write together just calls it to the surface.
It's a real thing. And I used to think that that was a real thing only when you were writing with people in person, that somehow there was a magic of brain chemistry that would expand, my thinking or the thinking of other people in the room. But I've really found it's more about intention and about holding the space together and creating a kind of time outside of time. And something happens. And I think not just for us, but we keep hearing that it's happening for other people too, that work is coming through for them more easily, or that they're able to give themselves that time to write.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a kind of, warmth that happens even over Zoom, which is something that we've all discovered throughout the pandemic, that connection, compassion, all these things that we're craving are still possible even while we're connecting across distances.
Even around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to say that we don't have to consider ourselves to be writers or poets. We don't have to write poetry. It's for all kinds of writing, and really just for ourselves, an act of grace toward ourselves, to give ourselves that kind of time and space for self-expression.
Yeah, I love that. I'm thinking of the piece of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. Talks about going out into nature, and he says something about, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. And I feel like we can give that to ourselves. It doesn't have to be in nature. It can just be an ordinary moment in time.
That's so beautiful. And that's really true.
Yeah, and so that's why we called this the HearthFire Writing Community, because, and back in the day, people would gather around the hearth. That was the center of the home. And we come back to center, I feel, when we're writing and telling the truth and accessing our truest selves. So we're all gathering at this hearth together.
I feel that way too.